What's up, everyone? On today's video, we're covering the pros and cons of what it's like to live in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. We're going to cover a couple of different topics like the school systems, tourism and traffic, cost of living, and a few others. But before we get started, if it's your first time to the channel, my name is Steve McCutcheon, and I'm a realtor at Berkshire Hathaway. On the Live in Central New Jersey channel, we cover everything related to the Central Jersey real estate market. So if you want to be the first one to know what's going on in Monmouth or Ocean County real estate, feel free to click the bell, hit the subscribe button. Let's get this video started. The very first pro is going to be the location. And as you can see, Point Pleasant is going to be located in the most northern part of Ocean County, and across the East Coast, you're going to have access to the beach. Now, a little bit of a caveat here, Point Pleasant is actually going to be broken down into two separate towns. So you have Point Pleasant Boro and Point Pleasant Beach. Obviously, Point Pleasant Beach is going to be the one with the beach, ocean, boardwalk, and closer to the water. And then you're going to have Point Pleasant Boro, which is going to be a little bit more to the west of there, kind of more of a residential single-family home area typically, so you're not more than 5 to 10 minutes away depending on where you live at the absolute most from the beach, but you're a little bit off the beaten path. And then for the pros and cons videos that we have here today, I'm just going to be naming them generically for them, but if either one applies directly to that specifically, I'll name it out. Now with Point Pleasant, it's going to be a pretty heavy family-friendly environment. The town does a great job of this compared to some other shore towns, and it kind of markets itself towards that, I would say. So you're going to have everything from the beach and boardwalk. You're going to have an aquarium over there, mini golf. You're going to have some rides, games, arcade. It's a really good spot. Also for the adults, though, you're going to have Jenkinsons Bar and Nightclub. This is going to be a great spot. I don't know if they do it anymore, but at least when I was growing up a little younger, it used to go out more. On Wednesday nights, they had country nights. That was always a big hit down the shore. Also with the downtown area, there's a lot of great restaurants. Spanos is one of my favorite. It's an Italian spot. Got to book a little bit in advance with it. It's a little bit pricey, but highly recommend checking them out too. One last thing about living in Point Pleasant is you're going to be able to commute to work to a couple different locations, most notably New York City or Philadelphia. With Philadelphia, you can only drive yourself. Unfortunately, we don't have a train or public transportation that can get you out that way, but it's going to run you about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So it could be a little bit on the shorter side compared to New York City. With New York City, you're going to be looking at about 2 hours, I would say. That's going to be with the bus or the train. If you're driving yourself, it might be a little longer certain days depending on how much traffic there is. So if you're looking to live there full time and then work in the city, I'd probably recommend taking the train. It might be your easiest route on a daily basis at least. Pro number 2 is going to be the school systems. Now, with Point Pleasant, you're going to be actually broken down to two separate ones. You're going to have Point Pleasant Beach and Point Pleasant Boro. The good news is they actually rank first and third respectively in all of Ocean County for your school districts. Point Pleasant Beach, according to niche.com, is going to be rated A-, houses about 700 students, and has 11 to 1 student-teacher ratio. It's going to be grades K through 12, and it has 1 middle, 1 elementary, and 1 high school. On the other hand, Point Pleasant Boro School District is going to also be rated an A- according to niche.com, houses about 2,700 students, and has a 16 to 1 student-teacher ratio. There's going to be 2 elementary, 1 middle, and 1 high school. So obviously Point Boro is going to be a lot bigger than the Point Beach School District, but either way you look at it, they're both highly ranked in Ocean County. Pro number 3 is going to be the outdoor activities available to you. Obviously, we've already mentioned it, but the Point Pleasant has the beach and boardwalk, and that's probably going to be the number 1, at least tourist attraction for just our area in general over there. Then, obviously, being close to the water, we have plenty of water sports you could do, from surfing, kayaking, jet skiing even, or if you're someone like my cousin, you own a boat because you're closer out to the water, you can just go on, relax, or even head out deep sea fishing, whatever you're into on that. If you don't have your sea legs though, and you want to stay closer to land, New Jersey has about, I think it's 45 or even 45% of our land covered by forest. So there's a lot of trails and parks that you can head out to around here to go for a hike. Alair State Park is probably one of the bigger ones. That's about 10 or 15 minutes away. We also have the Brick or Manasquan Reservoir, roughly the same distance. So you can check out a lot of different places you can go, just more of a scenic walk, run, so that kind of thing if you want a little bit of exercise. If you hate hiking, like someone like myself, and you're more into sports, check out one of the major golf courses we have here too. Since you're on the border of Monmouth and Ocean County, there's a lot of different county courses around our area. If you have Ocean County, get a county car for that. It's going to be a little bit cheaper for you, but the Monmouth course is just as nice and pristine. Before you head on over to the cons, if you're looking for a little bit more information on Point Pleasant, I've done some other videos on it in the past, like new construction home tours, difference between living in Point Boro versus the beach, and just a couple maybe things to know videos. So they'll all be down in the descriptions, and I'll link them to the end of the video, but let's get back to the content you came here for. Con number 1 is going to be the tourism and traffic. So when you're living at a beach town, you'll be familiar with this. We have a large influx of people that come from Memorial Day up until Labor Day. They'll rent out beach houses for a week, a month, maybe even the entire summer. It's estimated roughly that New Jersey has 120 million tourists that come throughout that time frame. Now that's not just Point Pleasant, that's the entire Jersey Shore, so don't worry. But with this, obviously you're gonna have more cars on the roads, so extra traffic, limited parking spaces, which is already a small amount to begin with, on top of that, and then you're just maybe extra wait times when you're going out for food, you're going to the store, just trying to get through town, that kind of thing. So it can be a little bit annoying for the locals around town if you live there year round, and you know that time's coming and whatnot. And don't forget too, these shore towns aren't much that big, so you're looking from anywhere between maybe 1 square mile up to 3, 5 square miles. So they're not massive. So when you have a large influx of people, it can tend to wear on it a little bit. The second con is going to have to be the cost of living. And you're going to see this in a number of different factors. Obviously, the first one, if you're living near the beach, you're kind of sometimes off the beaten path a little bit. It's going to be a little bit harder for companies and manufacturers to get goods and services to this area. So it's typically passed on to the consumer. That could be anything from just your suntan lotion going to the beach to even just the food on your plate at a restaurant. So anything along those lines. The second and probably the biggest one, since we talked about in this channel, is going to be the real estate prices. Kind of give you an example, you have Point Pleasant Beach and Point Pleasant Boro, right? So for the borough, the median household, or the median sales price at least, is going to be about $650,000, give or take a little bit. That changes a lot and pretty drastically when you go to Point Pleasant Beach, where the average sales price is going to come in about $875,000. So you're talking a $200K difference to go live a little bit closer to the water. So when you're talking about inflated prices and a higher cost of living, obviously anytime you have waterfront homes or water view homes, they're going to jump up pretty drastically. And that just kind of gives you an example right there. Con number 3 is going to be the weather habits. So if you're someone that's possibly looking to live in New Jersey, just be aware that we do have all 4 seasons. And if you're purchasing a home near the water, you do have to take in some seasonal effects because of this. We get some pretty decent storms here in New Jersey. We're gonna have everything from thunderstorms, heavy winds, you're gonna have snowstorms, so be prepared for that. We even do have hurricanes every now and then. Thankfully, knock on wood, we haven't had one in quite a while, but if you're buying a home near water, that's something you have to be aware about, coastal flooding and that kind of thing. Typically, if you're gonna be, I think all Point Pleasant is going to be technically in a flood zone. I don't remember if certain parts of the borough are not, but obviously if you're living in Point Beach, that's definitely going to be in a flood zone. That's going to be a separate policy from your homeowner's insurance, so you will have to incur one or take one on. It's not a crazy amount. You might be talking about an extra $100, $200 a month typically. If you're low elevation though and you're closer to the water, that might play a factor in increasing it. So if you're looking for something that's newer near the beach, highly recommend trying to find something that's going to already be raised. It just lessens your chance of potential damage in the future. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it and learned something about living in Point Pleasant. If you're thinking about living here, feel free to reach out. All my contact information is down low in the comments and description. Whether you're 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, even a year out, it doesn't matter to me. Let's just get you on the right path towards your real estate goals. And if you want to move to a different part of the Central Jersey area, check out 2 videos popping up and hopefully they'll help you out a bit too. Have a great day.